Glorified ignorance in the boxing community. Let's talk.
Push the weight in no flex. Flex the live is one in the six. Fit the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on Dirk, shout out to the mighty LDBC. All right, I'm gonna make this as brief as possible. Um, you pillow biting darkies make me sick. I don't know any other way to explain it. I'm not. I'm out of patience with you clowns. Um, some of you are talented or up and coming, and for some reason, y'all want to accept the streets or glorify the streets. And many of you haven't been anywhere near the streets. And if you have been in the streets, it was never on any level where you was a boss. Now I'm going to say something, and it's just going to be real. The only boss to date that I know about that was really moving the needle in those quote unquote streets was a white man by the name of Daniel Kinahan. That man's a boss. That man's still at large. There's a $5 million bounty on his head. And I caught him down. He's an Irish mobster, a cartel leader. Everything from drugs and guns and human trafficking. And he's no longer the head of MTK Global, which was a boxing company. It's been disbanded. There's a lot of fighters that were on that brand that got in trouble, Tyson Fury being one of them. But there was many, many others that got caught up in that. Some of them were guilty by association. Chasing the bag got them that. And we don't celebrate that. We talked about it in a negative light, justifiably so, and we cut that down. So what in the blue hell do you think I would be justifying anybody that came from that lifestyle into boxing? Justifying gang shootings and bodies. That's not something we're supposed to justify. Now, if I could look at Daniel Kinahan and denounce that, that's not my culture. It's not my heritage. That's nothing. That's nothing I represent. What makes you think I'm going to celebrate known mob ties? Or even if you was in that life and got out, to still refer to it like, yeah, I'm still a bad mofo because I still got connections there. What makes you think I'm going to celebrate that? What makes you think that? So Auntie Schofield said a week ago, well, not a week ago, about a month ago, I saw what he had to say, and I try to leave things like that alone. Said something about Bill, and you ain't never had, you never toted guns like I did. You ain't getting no money in the street like I did. Why are you glorifying that? You have a son in the business of boxing. He's doing okay so far. There's some discrepancies there, but I've taken it easy on him because I have a lot of problems with what you had to say. So he's just guilty by association. I never really got on y'all case about that Shakur ducking and someone got poisoned or whatever. I let that go. But this right here, no. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. Why in your right mind would you glorify what you say? Because I can't deny or confirm what you say you used to do on the street in comparison to Bill. What is that? And this is where you guys get it messed up. It's supposed to be about your sons. Bill promotes his son and y'all attack Bill personally. Devin performs, and that's not good enough because all I see is the work. I'm watching Floyd Schofield Jr., and I don't see no work. That's why I never really said anything about Auntie Schofield, but this I'm not letting it go because off the heels of this, here comes Mr. Popo, Richardson Hitchins. I saw a tweet. Someone showed me a tweet of him saying, what hood did Devin grow up in? None. But so what? I didn't know growing up in the hood makes you tough. It is supposed to, but there's a lot of cats in the hood that don't go outside. And y'all know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of people that grew up in the hoods, but they didn't go outside. They weren't on the corner. They weren't on the block. They weren't busting those shots. There wasn't lookout kids and selling the drugs or whatever. There are some people that had good sense in the hood. They kept their kids inside when the street lights came on, and they kept them away from that stuff. So what hood? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask what hood this kid grew up in. If you're blessed with talent and people want to pay money to see you box in the ring, why are you talking about what hood someone grew up in? Because you know what? I'm looking at Devin's record. I'm sure he fought a lot of people from the hood, even the hoods in Mexico, and he beat all their ass. So much to the point that the only thing that y'all can hold on to is what Ryan Garcia tried to do to him and get away with. So what hood did you come up in where you represent and celebrate something like that? A turncoat, a big lip chimpanzee monkey coon, a master at kung fu. That's what they teach you in the hood? I know you stood up on the international stage after you beat George Kambosos, something that Devin did twice on his soil. And you did it after Devin did it and still took B-side money. I know all about that. I know all about that. Use the B-side in that. I don't care if you won. George was the A-side that night. How about that? Richardson, how about that? Tell me what hood you came from, man. Well, you know what? That's a rhetorical question because no one cares. No one cares. You're blessed with all this talent. You talking about what hood he came from. You stood up on the international stage and said, F you N-word, F you ninja, let's fight. Then the next day or a couple days later, you in a boxing voice, and you told Ness, I was just effing around. No, stand on it. All you gotta do is say the word, because you know what Dad's gonna do. You might not be on the list, but you'll make that list. As a matter of fact, when Trill Bell rolled up on you, you start talking about what happened when Devin came to Brooklyn. We didn't like it. Of course, we thought that Ryan is not only a cheater, but he's a racist. Why y'all knuckle draggers still talking about Ryan Garcia like he did something? And guess what? Ryan Garcia had opportunity to do it again. What did he do? Nothing. Got knocked on his behind by Rolly. He still could have fought. Then he said, my hand hurt. Now he's getting a shot against Mario Barrios. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm calling it right now. If he beats Mario Barrios, he's still not going to fight Devin Haney. He's still not. I used to walk around saying, I don't understand you knuckle draggers, but I do. I do. Y'all are jealous. And when you look in the mirror, all the bleach in the world can't make you lighter. Whether you twist your hair in the dreads or you put S-curl in your head, it's not going to dye your hair blonde. You're not white. You're not an other. You're not. Sammy Sosa looking ass dudes. The internal hatred is ridiculous. What hood you came from. You guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. Especially when you ain't come up from no hood. And even if you did, you could have been super thug privileged. That has nothing to do with what you do in the ring. I keep telling y'all all the time, I'm not far from Connecticut. I know white guys that look like nerds that are in college getting their education, but they will twist you in a knot in the street. Because all of those kids are studying MMA. And they low-key look for the smoke. There'll be a 120-pound white boy with big bifocals. He will bust you up something fierce. Ain't no one scared of the hood no more. That's played out. To be scary is not to be black anymore. Stop it. No one's afraid of you. Trust me. We all know what happens when you say you're from the trenches. Edgar Berlanga, from Brooklyn, by the way. Look what happened. You think Hamza Shiraz cared about what hood he came from? It ain't work out for him, did it? Tank from the trenches, right? What's up with that Lamar Roach smoke? Stop it. Because underneath all of that, you guys are a bunch of pillow biters. Sick of y'all. Bronx on deck.
Move!